Why does an American earning $70,000 often live completely differently from a European making the exact same amount? Why can someone in Dubai keep almost every dollar they earn, while a Brazilian loses a huge portion before even spending it? And why is the United States considered a consumer paradise, but also one of the most financially dangerous places to get sick? Today on Finance Unlocked, we're comparing the tax systems of the United States, Europe, Latin America, and Asia to answer one question: where does your money actually go further? Because your salary alone means nothing. What matters is how much you keep, what things cost, and what the government gives back in return. The American system is built around one core idea: low taxation on consumption, higher responsibility on the individual. In 2026, federal income taxes range from 10% to 37%, depending on income level. But the real difference appears when Americans spend money. Unlike countries such as Brazil, U.S. sales taxes are relatively low, usually between 0 and 10%, depending on the state. That changes everything. In many countries, taxes are hidden inside the price of food, electronics, gasoline, and even basic necessities. In the U.S., the price tag often looks cheaper, and the tax only appears at checkout. Psychologically, this creates the feeling of stronger purchasing power. An American middle-class consumer can often buy electronics, cars, clothes, and technology much more cheaply than people in highly taxed economies. But there's a catch. The US model works like a subscription plan to life. You pay less to the government because you're expected to pay privately for things the government covers elsewhere. Healthcare, college, childcare, retirement. A single medical emergency can cost thousands of dollars. So while Americans may keep more money up front, they also carry far more personal financial risk. Europe chose a different path. Countries like Germany, France, and Denmark built systems based on collective security. Taxes are dramatically higher. In some European economies, the total tax burden exceeds 45% of GDP. That's nearly double the level of the United States. At first glance, it sounds terrible. Why would anyone voluntarily give half their income to the government? Because in return, many major life expenses practically disappear. In Denmark, university education is essentially free. Healthcare is universal. Childcare is heavily subsidized. Public transportation is efficient, and unemployment protections are stronger. This completely changes how people use money. An American family may need to save hundreds of dollars every month for emergencies, insurance deductibles, or future tuition. A European family might redirect that same money toward travel, leisure, or shorter work hours. It's a philosophical trade-off. The American system prioritizes individual freedom and private choice. The European system prioritizes stability and collective protection. Neither system is free. They simply charge you in different ways. Then there are the outliers. Places rewriting the global tax competition: Singapore, Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. These economies use ultra-low taxes to attract talent, investors, entrepreneurs, and multinational companies. Singapore's top personal income tax rate remains relatively low compared to Western Europe. And in Dubai, personal income tax is effectively zero. Imagine keeping nearly every dollar you earn. That's the dream these places sell. But there's another side to the story. The state still needs money, so instead of heavily taxing salaries, these economies rely on oil revenue, global trade, finance, logistics, tourism, and corporate activity. The result? Some of the most business-friendly environments on Earth. For high-income professionals, especially in tech, finance, and design, the wealth accumulation potential can be enormous. But life there isn't cheap. Housing costs in Singapore and Dubai can be extreme, and many social protections are weaker than in Europe. In other words, low taxes don't automatically mean low living costs. Let's simplify the global picture. Each system creates winners and losers. Low consumption taxes usually benefit consumers and businesses. High social taxes usually benefit long-term stability and lower inequality. But Brazil presents a unique problem. It heavily taxes consumption, like Europe. Yet many citizens still pay privately for healthcare, education, security, and transportation, similar to the United States. That creates pressure from both sides. People lose purchasing power at the checkout counter, while still paying out of pocket for services that taxes were supposed to provide. So, is there a perfect country for your money? Not really. Every system is a trade-off between freedom, security, opportunity, and cost. But even if you can't change countries tomorrow, you can change how you interact with the system. First, geographic diversification. If global assets are priced in dollars or euros, depending entirely on a weak local currency creates an invisible financial disadvantage. Second, tax optimization. Use legal structures and investment accounts designed to reduce taxation. In the US, that could mean 401ks and IRAs. In Brazil, PGBL accounts or business structures. The wealthy don't just earn differently, they're taxed differently. And finally, education, because the most expensive tax in the world is ignorance. The moment you understand where your money is going, you start making decisions differently. So which model would you choose? Higher taxes with guaranteed public services, or lower taxes with more personal freedom and more personal risk? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe to Finance Unlocked, and let's keep opening these financial doors together.